Hi, and welcome to the Man You Want to Be monthly Google Hangout. Man You Want to Be is a conversation that we have on the Raising Boys section of the Good Men Project. I am Marie Roker-Jones, founder of Raising Great Men, senior editor with the Good Men Project, and tonight I'm honored to have these two gentlemen here with me to talk about bullying and how they are changing the face of bullying and really starting a movement with young people on addressing bullying and really how to put an end and eradicate the bullying situation that we have in this country. So I will start with this guy that you've probably seen on a few of the Google Hangouts, which is Edmund Ajapong, and he is live from New York City. Edmund, if you just introduce yourself.
Edmund Ajapong, New York City middle school public school teacher. That's pretty much it for now. It's enough.
He's just being humble. Yeah, just Google him. Okay, he's being humble right now, but he does a lot of other stuff. Hip hop ed. He's what else? He just got his master's degree. He's everywhere. Okay, so don't let Edmund's humbleness fool you. Humility fool you. And we also have Q, who
Yes.
is here with us, and you are the founder of Gully Face Inc., right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so we want you to tell us a little bit more about Gully Face and just really how you got started, what made you come up with this concept, and how things are going. So whoever wants to start.
I'll start off on how Gully Face started. So when I first came to the U.S., I'm from Ghana. I'm Quadro, but a lot of people call me Q. I'm a navigator with Bronx Works, and also the founder of Gully Face. But the way Gully Face came about was when I first came to the U.S. I was bullied from age 9 to like age 12 in middle school. So it came to a point where I figured I might just, you know what, I have to find a way to stand up to myself or stand up by myself. So I figured if I change, because I had a face of like an innocent kid, So I figured if I change my facial expression, if I change my whole demeanor, it can be like my defense mechanism. So so I think my 7th grade year, I figured I would just change my whole facial expression or my whole facial look. And when I did that, it worked. It was more like don't smile a lot, have that mean mugging face on, and just keep rolling. If somebody say something back, you say something back, and just walk with a mean face. And that's how it all worked. I got through it with middle school and got through with high school, and then I went to college. My last year of college, my friend and I was sitting down discussing about our life and what we've been through, and it basically came about how I got over bullying. I told him I used to be bullied when I was young. They didn't believe me because now I have a lot. I'm muscular. I'm taller, so they didn't believe that I was bullied. And I'm thinking, well, I was bullied pretty bad. Sometimes it was so bad I didn't even want to go back to school. And I figured, okay, so I have to do something about this. And that's when Gully Face came about. First, we started using it when we started designing like a facial expression on shirts, and that's how the whole movement began. And a lot of people liked it, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just turn this into a nonprofit and see what we can do? And I believe actually last November is when I actually registered the company. So we're about to have a 1 year anniversary, I guess.
Nice.
No, that's nice. Oh, and here's my co-host who just joined us, Dr. Vibe. Hello, Dr. Vibe.
Hey, what's cracking? What is up?
We're glad you joined us. We
I'm
just started
glad,
the conversation.
I'm glad you're having me. Or you're letting me.
Oh, and I can't have this without you, so there's no
Oh,
letting you. Um,
oh.
so we just asked Q about how he started Gully Face, and he was just sharing a story about being bullied as a child and using this facial expression and this demeanor, his attitude to really deal with the bullying situation, and that this is how it came about. So I don't know if you want to go next with a question for Q or Edmund.
Sure, I have a conversation piece. I know we'll talk more about the organization. How did you two meet?
Oh man, we used to go to church.
Yeah.
We met in church, and that's how we met. We used to be in a choir, the same choir together. We used to sing actually. It was oh my gosh, it's a long. We've been knowing each other for a long time, and we've been working our way to the top. And then so since then, I was like, man, Edmund, you'd be a great person to help me out with this project. So that's how Edmund came on board. But we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Now we're also fraternity brothers. So
So
that's a
Edmund,
both.
when Q approached you with this vision, what was your first reaction?
So initial reaction was, why not, right? Why not? So the Gully Face it's not only a organization or a company. It's more so of an image that helps people who go through all types of hardships. So bullying, you can use the Gully Face towards anything that's negative in life: racism, sexism, classism, etc. And when I heard the idea, I'm like, this is brilliant, because this is what a lot of people do in our communities, in our urban communities, right? When you take a look at the Gully Face, or or the Sail Face as it used to be called, it's essentially the same thing, or very similar to the Ice Grill. To that's what we refer to in hip hop, right? The Ice Grill, a lot of hip hop artists or a lot of people in urban communities, they have this Ice Grill, and it's like it's a facial expression, but it's also a demeanor that says, "Don't mess with me," right? And it makes you look confrontational, even though you may not be. But we're taking that Ice Grill and evolving it into something that can be used to support people, but especially students, against bullying. So we're not, we're telling people to use this face or this image for support in the hardships that they go through in life. And why not do that?
Marie?
I'm still trying to get over the fact that Edmund used to sing in a choir, so now I'm gonna have to
I
have
know.
him sing before this hangout's over.
Like we definitely got to get a performance. I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
That's not the main focus. We're gonna
Yeah,
have
I'm gonna definitely now I know his little other secret.
There you go.
Edmund's like Batman. You just never know what you're gonna get.
Multifaceted.
Yeah, that's it. One of the things I wanted to ask is what has been the reception with you said you incorporated last November. What has been the reception? How have, especially with like parents and kids, because really your audience and not the audience, but the population you're really trying to reach is young people, teens, and kids. So what has been the reception with Gully Face?
Well, so far we've been, as far as the programs we've been running, we had conferences in Ohio, because that's where I was based at first. So we've had conferences where we have activities where we have to deal with the parents and telling them our movement. So we basically send out flyers, and we had the conference in the church. So we had one conference in Cleveland, Ohio, and we had the other conference in Toledo, and it was a very successful one. We had over 45 students in Cleveland, and I think Toledo we had about 25, where we talked about bullying and how to prevent it, and also how parents can also learn more about the issue and asking your kids questions about what's going on in their school. So we basically educated them and basically gave them our flyers and also the website, and also we put together a commercial where it spoke about how people basically stand around when something is occurring and they're not actually stepping in to stop that issue. So far that's what we've been working on, and that's what we've been accomplishing, and we're working towards more programming and more activities so we can go into the schools, and that's what Edmund and I are currently working on. So hopefully it will be much more impactful and involving as well.
But he's been very modest, and when he talks about the impact, because when you look at Gully Face on social media, Instagram and via Twitter, you notice that on Instagram alone they have about 21,000 followers.
Yeah.
Right. So 21,000, that's a lot of people around the world. And there was a time where I think Q put out a call for people's stories. So people who have been bullied, people who have been abused, and etc. So, so what do they use their Gully Face for? So show support for Gully Face, show us your Gully Face, and tell us your story. And he shared those stories with people. So just sharing those stories alone, first of all, having 21,000 people, 21,000 followers, I think the reception is great, right? But then having the ability to share those stories for support for people who are going through the same struggles in life is beyond amazing.
You mentioned, and I know you just did some conferences in Ohio. What were parents saying to you?
They just couldn't believe I was able to put together such an idea, or such an idea can come forth, because I mean the way it came to me was the best way to stand against bullying is basically how you look. The first thing a lot of people will look at is your appearance, and that's the first thing anybody will look at. So it was just something that I figured it would be common sense to use, as far as using your facial expression. So a lot of parents will approach me and just tell me what I'm doing is great, keep it up, don't give up, and just keep educating these young kids about bullying and about their life. So when we go out into the field, or also going into these conferences, we don't only just speak about bullying, we're also motivating the kids to reaching their goals, and also getting stuff accomplished, and just letting them know that if I can do it, you can also accomplish it. So as we speak, or as far as motivating these kids, parents are coming to us and just telling us, you guys are doing a great job. At a young age, you keep pushing, and this will be successful. And that's what, and hearing that motivates me to actually pursue this career that I'm in right now, as far as like pushing the campaign, and just letting people know, and also put an effort, and also as far as funds into it, and spreading the word, and just going around basically. So it's all been positive from the parent side.
Marie?
That's great. Now, that's great to hear. As a parent, I think that's, it's just wonderful to hear that you're getting good reception. One of the questions I have is, as far as the stories that you're hearing, what are kids sharing with you? What is more, I guess, what's the most startling thing that you've read or heard about the situations that they're in, the bullying situations?
Some of the stories we can't share, but some of them are similar, because we promise to not share with a lot, because we do get private ones. For example, I had a kid in India. She doesn't mind that I share. She was not interested in science. She wanted to do arts and music, but her family is so stuck on the family being great, being doctors, being pharmacists. So she was so afraid to tell her father that that's not what she want to do. She doesn't want to do science. She want to do music and dance. So she was so stuck in this mindset where if I tell my father this, he would disown me. So an advice I gave her was, you know what? Who are you close with? Who listens to you? Who actually hears you out when you talk? And she told me it was her uncle. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you express yourself to your uncle? Tell your uncle how you feel about you pursuing a science career, and you're not doing as good as your fellow friends, or as good as your brother or your sister would be doing, because what you're great at is music. So if he hears you out and he listens to you and he's close to you, he's the one you should be communicating with, so he can connect you or talk to. Since he's a closer to the dad, your father, it will be the best route to go as far as presenting what you really want to do to your as far as career and what you're pursuing to do. If science is not the route, you choose what's in your heart. But she just didn't know how to go about it. So it took about 4 weeks for us to go forth with that procedure. So first I told her to just, we kept talking to her. At first she didn't want us to tell us the issue, the real issue. Like sometimes she wants to tell her father straight up, and I was like, you know, if you don't feel comfortable with it, just approach your uncle. Just talk to him step by step, and tell him what you're interested in, and tell him how great you are in music and how great you are at dancing. And then from there, you can ask him, or you both can find a way to tell your father and present something to your father and show your father that this is what you're good at, and science is not where your heart is at. So that's one of the stories, and that was actually a successful story because she wrote us back saying she thanked us because she didn't know how she would have done this. You guys are the reason why I'm actually enjoying life. So we had a lot of kids sending us messages on Instagram, Facebook, and also sending us emails telling us how happy they are. We the reason why they're alive. So stuff like that. When I hear it, it's just not about doing something popular to get attention or a name, but actually hearing little kids like from the age of 9 to 11, 12, 15, 16 send you emails saying they appreciate what you're doing, and also getting adults on social media saying you guys are doing a great job is the reason why I pursue to push this campaign. So and when it comes to stories, we have stories after stories after stories. Uh, India, Singapore, Pakistan, uh, China. So it a lot of people think bullying only happens in the U.S., but it actually happens in a lot of countries. So Russia. So I mean, it's very effective in Russia. A lot of people don't really pay attention to that, but Russia, Saudi Arabia as well, as far as women. Um, I know I'm going on, but these are like emails that we get from so many different countries, and it's just overwhelming and also exciting at the same time, trying to answer to these kids and also giving them motivational um, statements so they can stick to it, because you never know, the littlest thing can change somebody's life. The one word that you can say, they can hear all sorts of things, but one word can always change you, just one word. So I try my best as far as putting together motivational statement and sending out emails to these kids. I make sure that whatever I say, I put in one word that will touch every single kid's heart, so that when they grab on it, they can just pursue their dream and just keep moving on with it. And that's how the stories come about and how I motivate these kids. So stories, I can tell you stories upon stories, but
Edmund, I just want to ask, conversation piece wise, what this hasn't been the first type of organization like this around. What has made the growth of this so phenomenal?
So I think what makes Gully Face so phenomenal, also so unique, is that there there's a image behind the message, if that makes sense. I myself, I'm a visual learner. I know kids like seeing visual things and like having tangible things. So we have Gully Face stickers where we have that beautiful logo on it, and there's an image and there's something that you can do. So like, I imagine going into a school and say, everybody, show your Gully Face, and then it's something that the students can actually do to show that they're standing up against bullying. It's not just saying, it's not we're just coming in somewhere into a school or into a neighborhood and saying, stop bullying, which is great. But I think Gully Face takes it a step further, and I think just to promotion wise, it makes it more enticing. It makes it cool. I think there's a cool factor behind Gully Face, right? So if you go, every kid wants to be cool. Even as an adult, I want to be cool. I still want to be in. So there's a cool factor behind Gully Face that really encourages students to become engaged and actually look at bullying as as something that's negative and that's not beneficial to a learning community or any community.
Marie?
Sorry, I'm on mute. How are you planning to work with communities, community organizations, to get them, maybe like after school programs, to get them to adopt this, the movement, the program into their, I guess, curriculum or whatever? Are you developing curriculum? What are you doing to get this to be more of a, I guess, a learning experience for other adults to work with kids? Whoever wants to answer.
I'll let Edmund go on that one.
so so we're actually in the process of creating curriculums, and we're in the process of actually going into schools and literally having an impact on on our immediate community in New York City, especially in the Bronx, and then expanding that and going further. Of course, it'll take time, but essentially our vision is, going into schools, not taking up instructional time, but every school, every place where there are a large number of students, or honestly anywhere, people get bullied anywhere, right? And people suffer from hardships everywhere. But we're going to start in schools, and we're going to focus on bullying. The school that I work at, there are kids who are bullied, and there are kids who are bullying constantly. So it's an issue in my school, and if it's an issue in my school, it's an issue in other schools. So I know schools will definitely welcome the idea of somebody coming in. It's always good to have an outsider who's very passionate about what they're doing and very driven to talk to students about the negative and harmful effects that bullying has. Because a lot of us don't look, we look at bullying, generally and saying, okay, somebody's making fun of somebody, somebody's teasing somebody. But when you really look at the psychological effects and the impact that bully may have on that person's life, it could be very detrimental to that person. And we've heard stories about where people who have, bullying on social media, and students have killed themselves, committed suicide because they were bullied. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to put a stop to, because nobody should have to live in fear, especially in a country where we say everybody's free. Nobody should have to live in fear of their bully or somebody that they're afraid of. So those are our next steps in going into schools and working with teachers and principals and especially parent coordinators to get our message across.
Let me ask both of you, what is the state right now from your encounters of parents and schools in addressing this issue, and what more do you feel each one of those groups can do?
Well, I think it's challenging, right? Because it all depends on the person. There are people who are not comfortable there are people who are not comfortable with confrontation at all, right? So there are people in schools who don't know how to mediate a situation between two students because they're afraid of confrontation. But to get people to really agree with that, to agree with our message and to promote our message, it begins with us and outreach. Us going into schools, and us just working with people who are working with who are with students every day. So teachers. So I just came out of a teacher preparation program. We had no conversations about bullying. We had no conversations about how to deal with students' social emotional issues. All we talk about is teaching, which is great, which is what I'm hired for. But as a teacher, I'm also a mentor. I'm also a pseudo-therapist. I'm also a counselor to my students because I'm there for my students. So I think we have to help teachers and people in schools. We have to arm them with the tools to eradicate these issues in the schools, such as bullying, etc.
I think you're muted, Dr. Vi.
Yeah, I think he is muted.
I'm good.
You mentioned two things.
There we go.
Okay, you mentioned two things, and the first is that as an educator, you really have firsthand experience with what these kids go through, because as parents, we're not in the classroom with them. We're not in the school environment, so we don't see what you see.
Right.
So you definitely are a resource to parents to helping them better understand what kids face in an environment. How's Gully Face addressing the bystander issue, where because there's this triangle when it comes to bullying. You have the bully, the target, and the bystanders. What are you doing to get the bystanders involved in Gully Face and being part of this movement to kind of address and stop this?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, and that's something that I actually really thought about when I first started this project, and that's how I came up with a stand-up speak-up commercial, where that commercial basically expressed how people basically stand around when somebody is getting bullied and they're not doing anything. So visually, we're trying to put together like 15 seconds videos on Instagram where people can actually see how effective it is if you see somebody being bullied and not do anything about it. So it'll be basically doing 15 seconds commercials and just posted it on our Instagram, and then at the end basically do a collective commercial where it actually tells a story in the end what it does if you stand in, and also what it does if you don't stand in, the effects of it. So showing both sides of it will basically give people an idea of what happens when you don't step in and what happens when you step in, the big difference it makes.
Yep, and also I think telling no, not telling bystanders, but like bystanders, they're also allies, right? Because you're a bystander, you could definitely be an ally and be somebody of support to help eradicate bullying. So, I like to walk away from the term bystanders and call them allies, because you put them in a position of power to, speak up and say something about what's going on and not just watch.
Yeah, sounds excellent. With what has been so far in this campaign, one or two defining moments for you guys?
Want to go, Q?
Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat. I couldn't.
No, it's just saying. I know you've had a number of special moments since this campaign was launched. Could you share one or two of them from each of you in regards to a special moment so far that's made this? When you're doing something like this, you always have one of those moments to say, "This is a good thing. I'm glad I'm doing it." Could you share one of those moments from each of you?
Yes. The conference in Cleveland, Ohio. I had a mom basically break down, telling us how one of the kid that she used to take over, basically watch the guard. She was basically the guardian of a kid. And the kid was a very good kid, but due to being bullied in school and being talked about in school, the kid basically turned into a knucklehead, became stubborn, don't really pay attention in school, don't really care about anything else. So instead of coming home on time, the kid doesn't come home on time. So this is a kid that she basically wanted me to mentor. So I basically I'll have the kid call me every day. His name is Royce. I have the kid call me every day, or at least twice a week, so we can have a conversation on what he can do to change his attitude and what he can also do to become a better man. And that's what so what I do every day is just basically send him encouraging texts in the morning, and then in the nighttime I make sure I get him on the phone and talk to him. And when I went out there for the conference, the mom was telling me how his attitude has changed, how he thinks through stuff differently, and basically seeing him at the conference and him participating in a lot of stuff and telling other kids that bullying is not good, but as long as you stand and pursue what you want to do, what everybody else does doesn't really matter. And that's what's refining and very, very motivated, and also it inspires me to actually move forward with this movement as well. And the mom just coming to me and saying thank you. She actually bought me a box of pizza. I'm not really into pizza because I try and watch my diet a little bit. Once I get into pizza, I don't stop. So I didn't accept. I accepted, but then I gave it to the kids because the kids are the future.
Nice pass on. Well done, Q. Well done.
Oh man. I guess for myself, just a defining moment with the organization in general is the reach that it's had, within a year. To from organization to start in a little small town in Ohio, to be based in New York City, but to reach people all across the globe, and to help and support people all across the globe, and we just got started. That's very powerful to me, and it allows you to see the vision, where this can go and where this can be in the next couple of years if we continue steadily supporting people, and so just supporting people through their struggles and their hardships in life.
And I also want to say one more thing. When I woke up one day and I saw the commercial on Upworthy, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is not happening. And then I woke up and it was also on another big blog site, Godbind. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. It's moving. And I can't believe this is happening. And I was jumping around. My friend was like, what's going on with you? Are you all right? I'm like, can you see this? You don't see the commercial? Like, Upworthy? You can't see that? And then Edmund wrote a story about it. And then I was like, oh, this is just beautiful. I can't do this no more. I'm just going to sleep for the day. So,
Sleep. Come on, man.
No, I was just going to sleep for that day because I was just going crazy. I felt like I was on Red Bull. I felt like I had wings. I wanted to fly that day.
Oh my gosh. That was not a plug for Red Bull, by the way, folks.
Not at all. Don't drink that stuff. It's not good.
Well, I know we're going to be winding down, and I hope Maria lets me ask one more conversation piece in that you guys are growing. There's only 2 of you. How are you planning to handle the phenomenal and continuous growth?
Oh, man.
Go ahead,
How
Q.
do you go on that, Edmund?
Well, you know, Q and I are on conversations. We're looking for interns to support with our social media presence, and we're just looking to kind of sort of expand, but we want to make sure that the vision remains true. So we're looking with people who have the same vision as us, and who are as motivated and inspired by Gully Face just as we are. So if you're like-minded people, we're looking for you. If you want to reach out, you get my Twitter's on the page, and we can get to work. That's what we're about.
And they can also go on the website and apply, send us their resume, and basically just send and just tell us how they feel about the campaign and what they can do to help out.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Well, unfortunately, we just lost Marie for a second here, so we'll just say that any final words that each one of you have for our audience. And first things first, we'd like to really thank you for taking the time to share with us, because I know both of you have positive, productive schedules. Like, I already knew Edmund was doing enough, and then when I heard about this, I'm going, like, what's going on, man? Like, this. Do either of you sleep?
No.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, just if you could leave some final words for both of us, for our audience tonight, be much appreciated.
Oh man, I'll just go with our old saying: "Too dope to lose hope." Always keep your head up and keep on the good fight.
Excellent, good stuff. Edmund, what parting words would you like to share with us?
Well, first of all, thanks for having us, and keep hope alive. It's never too late to look for support and to reach out to somebody who understands what you're going through. So if anybody's going through any hardships, just reach out to somebody who you can relate to and talk to about.
And it's interesting. You meant that's definitely a message for those who are encountering bullying. What message do you have for 2 other groups, parents and schools?
Parents and schools. It's about perspective. So if there's an issue, if something's going on with some students in schools, it's all about perspective. Don't always jump to conclusions. Don't always think that you know what's right, because we don't always know the realities of our young children in our schools. We don't always know exactly how they're feeling, exactly what they're going through. So just try to gain the perspective of the students and try to have a mediation and figure out what's really going on and become an ally to both students.
Right, and I'll say parents just get involved. Pay attention to the media, also social media especially, and just getting involved in your kid's life. No matter, even though they don't want you involved, just try and be cool and just get involved, because kids want cool parents, and as long as you're cool and you're mellow about it and just calm about everything, and also being attentive in what they're doing, I think everything will be great. Everything will be perfect in the school environment, and as far as parent knowing and actually getting along with their kids, I think as far as getting involved and paying attention to your kids, nothing else would be best.
Okay, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing with our audience tonight. Anything that we can do to help the cause, where to reach Marie and myself. Their website address. They've given their contact information. Marie, for some reason, technical-wise, is not with us, but I'm the co-host of The Man You Want to Be. I'm Dr. Vibe. I also have my own show, The Dr. Vibe Show. I produce and co-host. I produce it, host it, and also I co-host and co-produce the monthly The Good Men Project show at thegoodmenproject.com. You catch me on Man You Want to Be chats, and also and in various other places. I always like to say you're blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles, and you're a solution for someone's problem. God bless. Peace. We all keep the faith and keep on walking. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.